Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is April 8th, 2026, and we are going to read from Leviticus. We're going to read chapter 11 and 12, and then we're going to read Psalms 13 and 14. Well, that's interesting how that worked out today. Coincidence? Why, yes, it is. Okay, so where are we at in Leviticus? Well, we're getting ready to start this section about clean and unclean. God is holy. What does that mean? Totally without sin. So holy, unholy. God is sinless, fallen creation, full of sin. Get to us, we're going to have this concept of holy, of clean and unclean. I'm obedient, I'm disobedient. And really that's what cleanliness and uncleanliness is all about. That God says, okay, this is something I want you to do. If you do this, things are okay. If you do this, things are not okay. And you're going to have to do something to get from that state to this other state. So it's all about obedience. It's all about training Israel to be his nation, to follow his commands. Why does God give them these commands? He doesn't tell us. He just says, because I'm God and I'm holy. That's what I get to do. And you need to accept that and follow that to prove to me that you understand that. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Leviticus chapter 11. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are the animals which you may eat among all the animals that are on the earth. Among the animals, whatever divides the hoof, having cloven hoofs and chewing the cud, that you may eat. Nevertheless, those you shall not eat among those that chew the cud, or those that have cloven hoofs. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not have cloven hoofs, is unclean to you. The rock hyrax, because it chews the cud, but does not have cloven hoofs, it is unclean to you. The hare, because it chews the cud, but does not have cloven hoofs, is unclean to you. And the swine, though it divides the hoof, having cloven hoofs, yet does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Their flesh you shall not eat, and their carcasses you shall not touch. They are unclean to you. Again, is there a pattern in why they're unclean and why certain things are clean? Probably is, but I've heard different reasons for it. They're carrion eaters, they're garbage eaters, they're just ugly, etc., etc. Again, as a 21st century Christian, what's the difference between something that's clean and unclean? What's the difference between something I can eat and something I can't eat? Because God said so. And we see that right off the bat in our Bible, right in the Garden of Eden. Hey, Adam, there's 1,000,000 trees. You can eat from 999,999 of them. That's the only one you can't eat from. If you show me you can follow that rule, we'll talk about what comes after. You break that rule, we're done here in Eden, and we're going to have to do some other stuff. So again, why is something clean and why is something unclean? Why can I eat something and why should I not eat something? Because God said so. And really, we want to see that God is setting Israel apart, okay? That's the point. I want you to demonstrate that you belong to me. And I want people to look at you and say, well, why won't you eat that? And you say, because my God, Yahweh, says I can't eat that. And I love Yahweh and I'm going to obey Yahweh, so I'm not going to eat that. Let's go ahead and we're going to go to verse 9. These you may eat of all that are in the water. Whatever in the water has fins and scales, whether in the seas or in the rivers, that you may eat. But all in the seas or in the rivers that do not have fins and scales, all that move in the water, or any living thing which is in the water, they are an abomination to you. They shall be an abomination to you. You shall not eat their flesh, but you shall regard their carcasses as an abomination. Whatever is in the water does not have fins or scales, that shall be an abomination to you. And these you shall regard as an abomination among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the vulture, the buzzard, the kite, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, the ostrich, the short-eared owl, the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, the little owl, the fisher owl, and the screech owl, the white owl, the jackdaw, and the carrion vulture, the stork, the heron after its kind, the hoopoe, and the bat. All flying insects that creep on all fours shall be an abomination to you. Yet these you may eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet with which to leap on the earth. These you may eat. the locust after its kind, the destroying locust after its kind, the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you. By these you shall become unclean. Whoever touches the carcass of any of them shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries part of the carcass of any of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. The carcass of any animal which divides the foot but is not cloven hoofed or does not chew the cud is unclean to you. Everyone who touches it shall be unclean. And whatever goes on its paws among all kinds of animals that go on all 4s, those are unclean to you. Whoever touches any such carcass shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries any such carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. It is unclean to you. These also shall be unclean to you among the creeping things that creep on the earth: mole, the mouse, and the large lizard after its kind, the gecko and the monitor lizard, the sand reptile, the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until evening. Anything on which any of them falls when they are dead shall be unclean, whether it is any item of wood or clothing or skin or sack, whatever item it is in which any work is done, it must be put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Any earthen vessel into which any of them falls you shall break, and whatever is in it shall be unclean. In such a vessel any edible food upon which the water falls becomes unclean, and any drink that may be drunk from it becomes unclean. And everything on which a part of any such carcass falls shall be unclean. Whether it is an oven or a cooking stove, it shall be broken down, for they are unclean and shall be unclean to you. Nevertheless, a spring or a cistern in which there is plenty of water shall be clean, but whatever touches any such carcass becomes unclean. Spring is living water, flowing water, moving water, so it cleanses itself. The cistern would be like the big water source for the village. We can't get rid of that, or people are going to be hurting because they don't have enough drinking water. So there are some exceptions here. And if a part of any such carcass falls on any planting seed which is to be sown, it remains clean. But if water is put on the seed, and if a part of any such carcass falls on it, it becomes unclean to you. So a seed can't become unclean, but if the seed's actually planted and it's starting to germinate and something dead touches it, then it becomes unclean. And if any animal which you may eat dies, he who touches its carcass shall be unclean until evening. He who eats of its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. He also who carries its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. And every creeping thing that creeps on the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten. Whatever crawls on its belly, whatever goes on all 4s, or whatever has many feet among all creeping things that creep on the earth, these you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creeps, nor shall you make yourselves unclean with them, lest you are defiled by them. For I am the Lord your God. There's the reason. Why? Because I'm the Lord your God. You shall therefore consecrate yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy, and I am holy. And I say you have to be clean. You have to follow my instructions if you want to approach me as a holy God. You shall therefore consecrate yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourselves with any creeping thing that creeps on the earth. For I am the Lord who brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. I am sovereign. It's my rules. Why? Because it's my rules. Just like your mom and dad told you when you were a kid. Why do I have to do that? Because I said so. Verse 46. This is the law of the animals and the birds and every living creature that moves in the waters, and of everything creature that creeps on the earth, to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between the animal that may be eaten and the animal that may not be eaten. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman has conceived and born a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. So in the days of her customary impurity she shall be unclean. And on the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. She shall then continue in the blood of her purification 33 days. She shall not touch any hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purification are fulfilled. All right, so newborn mother is unclean. Why? Not because she's the newborn mother, but because she's touched the afterbirth, which is bloody and ugly and nasty. And the blood, that makes you unclean. Touching blood, touching something dead, unclean. But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her customary impurity, and she shall continue in the blood of her purification 66 days. So why is it twice? for a girl than it is for a boy. I don't know. It just is. That's what God says. Some people want to argue, well, it's because Eve is the first one that sinned in the garden, so she's getting twice the penalty, but yet New Testament, Jesus is born sinless of a woman. It's the Father that needs to be replaced by God instead of a simple human being. So again, why is it different? I don't know. God, that's because the God wanted it that way. We're not under this, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so let's move to 6. When the days of her purification are fulfilled, whether for a son or a daughter, she shall bring to the priest a lamb of the first year as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove as a sin offering to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then he shall offer it before the Lord and make atonement for her, and she shall be clean from the flow of her blood. This is the law for her who was born, a male or a female. And if she is not able to bring a lamb, then she may bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. One is a burnt offering, and the other is a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for her, and she will be clean. And when we see Jesus' birth and they go to Jerusalem to make the sacrifice, that first sacrifice, this is the one that they're making. All right, let's move over to Psalms. We're going to read Psalm 13 first, and then we're going to read Psalm 14. Psalm 13, trust in the salvation of the Lord, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. So we're going to get another lament here. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long will my enemies be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed against him, lest those who troubled me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord, because he has dealt bountifully with me. I believe in a God who's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So when I'm feeling that lament, feeling despair, feeling separated from God, we say, mind ourselves that, hey, you know what? God was there with me in the past. I know that. God's going to be with me in the future. I know that too. So this moment here of self-doubt and doubt and not sure if I'm really connected, I'm still connected to God. If I'm connected in the past and I know I'm going to be connected in the future, I'm connected right now. And that's basically what these 2 Psalms that we're getting ready to read, number 14, is bringing that lament into recognition that God is always there for us. Psalm 14, folly of the godless and God's final triumph. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. Now, what is a fool in the Bible? Usually, it's not talking about somebody who's a simpleton or intellectually foolish. It's talking about someone spiritually foolish, someone who knows the truth and just says, well, I'm not going to believe it. I know there's God, and I know what God wants me to do. I ain't going to do it. What's God going to do to me? Well, they will find out at the end time. So let's move on with 6. Verse 2, the Lord looks down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek God. They have all turned aside. They have together become corrupt. There is none who does good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread and do not call on the Lord? There they are in great fear, for God is with the generation of the righteous. You shame the counsel of the poor, but the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion. When the Lord brings back the captivity of his people, let Jacob rejoice, and Israel be glad. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.